the Medifast story because I know that there are other success stories out there, and you might be the next one. If you're frustrated with your inability to deal with your weight problem, get the weight off and keep it off. Do what I did when I became the incredible shrinking bud man. Get on this amazing program, the Medifast weight loss program that has been developed by doctors and approved by 20,000 physicians in the last 30 years. I mean, I think you're going to find it's absolutely amazing. What you do is you check in at your Medifast Weight Control Center. You get some help from your Medifast counselor who's with you every step of the way. People have lost 20 pounds, 200 pounds, even more, and had their lives changed and their lives saved in many cases. It's healthy and it's fast. It's Medifast. You can lose up to 2 to 5 pounds a week at your Medifast Center. Up to 2 to 5 pounds a week. Get started. Give them a call. Learn more, and please tell them the Bud Man sent you. Your Medifast Center is at 1-888-9-MEDIFAST. 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 Online, MedifastFlorida.com. And don't forget two convenient new Medifast Center locations, Lake Mary and Winter Park. Hey, we all want to save money, and in your business, I'm sure that you are trying to be just as careful with a buck as you can be these days. Who wouldn't be? It's only smart business. You want to save some serious money? Well, do it through Bright House Network's Business Solutions by bundling your business phone service with business broadband internet, all from Bright House. That's where the savings kick in when you bundle with Bright House, and you'll take full advantage, of course, along the way of faster downloads with business broadband internet speeds of up to 50 megabytes for every type of business need. Connect to it. Tell them you want to bundle. Bright House, 1-877-632-2337, 1-877-632-2337. Online, brighthouse.com/business. Listen, I'm not picking on the Republicans in the state of Florida. I am glad they have power to a degree they've never had it before. I'm rooting for Rick Scott. I applaud his courage on killing high-speed rail, and I hope he stands tall against the pressure from Bill Nelson and others to undo that decision. I'm glad that there are dominant majorities for the Republicans in both houses of the legislature and a lot of Tea Party conservatives up there who I'm just almost completely in lockstep with. But I'll tell you what, this is the last chance. If the Republicans govern the way they campaign, they'll keep power for the benefit of this state for a long time. If they don't, they'll be thrown out on their ear. Okay? You know that's true. So I'm not picking on them. I'm rooting for them. But for goodness sakes, it makes me crazy when I see them do things that show a horrible inconsistency in what they stood for on the campaign trail and what they're actually doing. And I've got to point it out. Okay? I'm sorry, you want a talk show host who circles the wagons for the Republicans every chance? You got the wrong guy. I just try to be intellectually honest, okay? When I got good things to say about somebody, I say them. When I got some critical things to say, I don't even look at what party label they are. I just tell it like it is. Let the chips fall where they may. If you want to listen, you listen. If you don't, I totally get that. You got the freedom to do whatever you want, and that's the way it should be. Having said all of that, it made me crazy when Rick Scott came in and was announcing his budget plans to cut just about everything else and at the same time doubling the budget for his own office. You see the problem I have with that? That's not who Rick Scott was in the campaign trail. And now we have the new Senate President, Mike Herodopoulos, the new Speaker of the House, Dean Cannon from Winter Park, Herodopoulos from Merritt Island, both friends of the program. They've been on it before. But I'm looking at this story from WFTV Channel 9. And they talked on the campaign trail about looking under every rock to save money, to downsize government at every level, to cut spending, fiscal conservatism. That's the campaign platform for these two guys who lead the legislature now. And Channel 9 uncovers something very, very interesting, that between them, Herodopoulos and Cannon, who are supposed to set the example, are they not, for fiscal conservatism, restraint, and cutting spending? Between them, they have hired 61 assistants who each make more than $100,000 a year. Okay? Now, I mean, you know, this kind of thing has been going on, and they defend this by saying a couple of things, that these are great people, and this is a big job, and this is what it costs to get great people. And they try to justify this. I guess it would be fine if they hadn't talked about making cuts everywhere else, but they're not looking inside their own operations. Does that bother you? 61 staffers from the two top state lawmakers making $100K or more? 407-916-5400. Want to talk about it? You will in 60 seconds if you get on the radio with a Budman. Right now at 7:22. Here's your latest update on real-time traffic and weather together on the twos. All right, thanks. Foggy, burning off, sunshine today, 78 for the high, 60 degrees here in Orlando. Dean Cannon, in defending the criticism he got from Channel 9's reporter Eric Rasmussen, with 61 staffers between him and Herodopoulos making more than $100,000. He says critics obviously don't know the experience and the qualifications of the people who are getting these salaries because they are worth much more. I don't know, do we need 61 people between these two offices? Maybe we could save the money. If it takes that to get good people on board, how about fewer people doing the work? Kind of like what we have here in the private sector that we deal with all the time? Come on. Top aide for Cannon, $146,000 a year. Top aide for Herodopoulos, $175,000. They campaign to downsize government and cut spending. I think they're sending a conflicting message, and I don't like it. Here's John in Orlando. John, what do you think?
But you're not surprised, are you?
No.
I mean...
Very disappointed and angry about it, though.
Well, Scott and, all his cronies, talking about how we can't sustain the budget, we have to cut education and cut all these services with law enforcement and firefighters.
And we do.
Unsustainable unions.
We have to do it. You agree with me that all of those things have to be cut?
To a certain extent. But
all of them.
Time,
everything.
To a certain extent, yes.
Everything.
But I'm agreeing with you, but to a certain extent. But at the same time, the hypocrisy of not cutting within your own cabinet is asinine. And, we can't act naive as if this whole, thing with, especially going on in Wisconsin right now, is that these guys up there, these Republican bigwigs, have money to spend on their own special interests and they'll put money where they want to put money, but then they have no money for anything else, and they don't want any bargaining with anybody else. I think it's ridiculous.
Thank you, John, very much. I will tell you, symbolism is important. When you are talking about making other people sacrifice, you need to sacrifice and be willing to sacrifice as well. Now, they haven't added a whole bunch of new people, but it is what a continuation of business as usual is what this amounts to. And I believe that's unacceptable when you aggressively campaign to end business as usual and downside government and government expenditures. That's the problem here. Randy in Claremont, good morning.
Good morning.
What do you think?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. I guess my question on it was, is that 61 new positions, or is it 61 positions that used to be 70? Is it an increase?
Well, it is not 61 new positions, but from the Channel 9 report, unless I've missed something, it is not clear to me with regard to your second question. The
okay.
issue is here. The issue is here. If you are all about cuts, spending cuts, why don't you start in your own office? Even if it's symbolic, make a statement. Spread it around for fewer people. Or get other people who will do the job for less money.
That's why I was wondering, okay, when they took over, is that now less positions than it used to be, and it's just 61 new hires?
I think it's about the same.
Oh, okay. And then the other question I would have is, hey, can I have one?
No, get in line behind the Bud Man. I'm driving to Tallahassee this afternoon. All right, thank you. Appreciate you. Here's Juan in Kissimmee. Good morning, Juan.
Good morning, my friend. We hired these people to do changes. And if they continue to keep in the same status quo, if those 60 did not work in the past to get us jobs and get our economy going, ain't going to help us now. So they should just get rid of them. Let's save the money.
Well, and now, as I think it was Herodopoulos points out, we're trying to run a $70 billion organization, meaning the state and the state budget here, and we need to find the right people for it. I think maybe they should have looked a little harder and gotten some people who would be hungry to work for less up there and do it with less people.
There's people out there that are willing to work for less,
yeah.
And they should go to their constituents and find out who among them can really help out and get this state going again with jobs and all that stuff. Not just hiring the top 10 know-hows of nothing to give us nothing,
All right, Juan, I think I understand where you're coming from. Come on, in the business I work in right now, we've had several downsizings. Radio's had to just change the way it does business, and we're doing fine, okay? But those changes needed to be made, and they probably needed to be made in some fashion similar in your business. Do you find that you now have the same work spread out over fewer people, and that those people might be making less money than they used to make and doing more work? That's what needs to happen here. Mike Herodopoulos and Dean Cannon are good guys, but they campaigned as fiscal conservatives and fiscal realists, and they're calling for cuts. They're going to try to drive them through the legislature for Governor Rick Scott. And their credibility is shot when they don't trim back their own operations. 4 Americans slaughtered by pirates in Somalia. This has never happened before. The president remains silent. I've told you what I believe needs to be done. We're going to connect to this tragedy and how we should respond to it as we continue into our next half hour on BHL. Stay tuned. That's on the backside of a quick news update. Good morning at 7:29.